Hi there. I'm Dr. Suzanne Bechtel, a passionate legal educator dedicated to making legal studies clear, practical, and even a little inspiring. On this channel, you'll find a growing collection of videos designed to help you prepare for the Certified Paralegal exam. It covers key topics, breaking down complex concepts, and offering study tips that actually stick. If you're looking for a deeper dive, check out my Teachable School, where I offer structured courses, interactive tools, and exclusive resources to support your journey towards certification. Watch this video to the end and you'll find a coupon code for a discount. Don't forget to subscribe and explore the playlists. Your success on the NALA CP exam starts here. Now, before we move on to the lecture, there are two important disclaimers. First of all, this is not considered legal advice. Everything shared here is designed to support your learning journey. Also, I am not a lawyer. This course is designed to help you understand the concepts of the exam. Hello. This lecture covers an introduction to agency and business organizations. The goal of this lecture is to help you to learn the following in relation to agency law. There's some vocabulary we'll cover. What are agency agreements like? The differences between an employee and an independent contractor. Power of attorney purposes. The agency agreement creation and liability for the principal for acts of the agent, and the agent's liability to third parties when acting in their capacity as agent. Also, agency relationship termination. And finally, the individuals and or entities that act as principals and agents for each of the various types of business organizations. We'll begin with some definitions. First of all, when one person acts on behalf of another or on behalf of a business organization, we have an agency relationship formed. An agent is the person acting on behalf of the principal. A general agent has authority to transact all business of the principal, all business of a particular kind, all business at a particular place, or all acts connected with a particular employment or business. A special agent, next slide. So that's a general agent that I just mentioned. A special agent has authority to do one or more specific acts in accordance with instructions from the principal. Some concepts of agency that are important to recognize. First of all, there's master and servant. This is a terminology that seems very antiquated, but if an employer has a right to control the manner in which an agent performs his or her work, that agent is likely an employee and not an independent contractor. An independent contractor, on the other hand, is when an individual is hired by another to perform some specific task or function, but not in a representative capacity. The independent contractor contracts with an employer for specific results. The employer does not control how the independent contractor achieves those results. The employer retains no right of control over the independent contractor. And control, if you're looking at this difference between master servant and independent contractor, control is the key determiner of whether an individual is an employee or an independent contractor. The less control, the less they are an employee. Power of attorney comes into play under this because they're created by a written document authorizing another, called an attorney in fact, to act as one's agent. And a power of attorney is usually required for things like transfer of real estate on behalf of another. Then there are also durable power of attorney documents, and these provide the authority granted to the attorney in fact, and that this authority will continue even after the incapacity of the person granting the power of attorney. So next we'll go into agency creation and look at the elements of an agency relationship. These include consent of the parties, the principal and the agent are the parties, capacity, that's mental capacity of the parties to act, and there is no written agreement required for an agency relationship to exist, and there's no required exchange of consideration, although it's very common to have consideration in this situation. And formation of the agency for a proper purpose is another element. An agency agreement can be created by these happenings: an express agreement, either verbal or written, an implied agreement based on intent and actions of the parties, the conduct of the principal and agent, ratification, and estoppel. The agent's authority is important also to look at. It's the agent's power to act on behalf of the principal in accordance with the principal's consent. The agent may have actual authority or apparent authority, and the agent's actual authority might be made expressly, so that's express authority, impliedly, so we have implied authority. We have authority incidental to express authority, so it just comes about with the express authority. And we have authority implied because of emergency. So apparent authority to do a specific act can be created by the actions of the principal. So either written or spoken word, or by the principal's conduct. And the elements of apparent agency include: 1, acts or conduct of the principal causing a third party to believe the agent has authority to act on behalf of the principal, and 2, a reliance on that belief by a third party. So the acts or conduct lead to a reliance on belief by the third party. The agent and principal owe certain duties to each other. So we'll look next at the principals. The duties to the principal. So the agent has a duty to perform, and they have a duty to act with reasonable care. They have a fiduciary duty, which is a higher standard than an ordinary duty. They have a duty to notify and a duty of loyalty. So even if you wanted to compare this with being a lawyer who has these same duties to a client, you want to use that as a way to remember well what the story is. Okay, next slide. In the principal's duty, principal obviously has duties to the agent, and if there's an agreement for compensation, the principal must compensate the agent. The principal has a duty to cooperate with the agent. So while they're not their employee, in some cases, like an independent contractor, there's still that duty to cooperate. They have a duty of care to the agent, and they have a duty to indemnify the agent. So the principal can have liability to third parties in addition to liability to the agent. Principals have liabilities under contracts that they have entered into, and so the principal is liable under contracts made on the principal's behalf by an authorized agent. And under the doctrine of respondeat superior, an employee is responsible for the torts committed by his or her employee. An employer is responsible for the torts committed by his or her employee while the employee is acting in the scope of his or her employment by the principal. They're intended by the acts intended by the principal, which is why we have the principal's liability when they are intended acts. They've been instructed, for example, and where the negligence or recklessness by the principal is a factor to consider. Agents are personally. It's the next. Yeah, agents have a liability to third parties. Agents are personally liable for their torts. And under certain circumstances, the principal may also be liable for torts committed by the agent. An agency, of course, needs to, there need to be opportunities for terminating an agency relationship. The agency may be terminated pursuant to the terms of the agency contract, the fulfillment of the agency purpose, or by the death or bankruptcy of either the principal or agent, or by the act of the principal and agent, or either one of them. So we're going to go in another lecture more into the types of business organizations as entities. But we'll look now at this in relation to agency and business organizations in general. So a sole proprietor may hire employees to serve as agents. And in a partnership, partners act as agents for the partnership and for each other. In limited partnerships, the general partners act as agents for the partnership and the other partners. And either members or managers of an LLC are agents of the limited liability company. And officers and directors are agents of corporations. So we also have a little short blurb here on the tasks commonly performed by paralegals working with agencies. And so this was a short lecture that is intended to give you some background on the agency relationship in general, and we'll continue on to the next lecture, which will go into more depth in the topic of business organizations. Thank you very much. I hope you got some good information from this video lecture. Don't forget that I have a Teachable school account. Here is the address for that, mayananda-s-school.teachable.com. The name of my school is Mayananda. And also there's a coupon here for you to save some money. And finally, good luck on the exam. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.